Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco. Dish out on the movies. But today we are doing episode 3 of Masterchef Junior, and it is focused on the Harlem Globetrotters. So a portion of the Harlem Globetrotter team came to visit, and so it was a team challenge. You had a red team and a blue team, of course. And let's see, the red team was, is it Lydia or Lila? And Christelle, Bryson, Jordan, and, what's his name? The North Dakota boy, for some reason, Alfred. I keep forgetting his name. And did I say, yeah, I said Jordan. And then the blue team is headed by, and the head of that was Lila or Lydia, whatever. The blue team was headed by Miles. And then you have Asher, Lilo, Michael, and Remy. And I think that's it. If I left anybody out, I don't think so. I'm still getting to know the kids' names. I know pretty much all of them, but now that they're tonight they're actually getting rid of 2. So I mean they'll be whittled down pretty fast.
Well, let's review the episode.
Okay.
So first off, Sophie watched this episode twice. I didn't have that advantage. I only got to watch it once. And then I had to wait around for her to watch it a second time. So, if you're wondering why I don't remember something, it's because I didn't have the advantage of watching it 2 times. So anyways, this was a team challenge episode. And they had to cook meals for the Harlem Globetrotters. And I thought that this was a fun team challenge. I liked the fact that they didn't have to go anywhere. They didn't have to be outside somewhere or cook somewhere strange or different. They got to do the team challenge in the MasterChef kitchen. One of the strange things that I thought about, though, was the fact that Gordon, I guess this is like a new thing, but like he'll call a kid over and he'll sit on this bench, and then the kid will sit next to him and he'll tell the kid, like, his advice or something. I think it's kind of queer.
I mean, and it doesn't work.
Isn't that weird?
Well,
like, he was trying to help the kid because, like, he was basically trying to be their team captain in a little bit of a way. Like, he was trying to help them out and tell them what to do, and it didn't really help at all.
No, it didn't.
I thought it was weird, though. Like, you go over to this bench and then you call a kid over to talk to them. I thought that's kind of strange. Like, go talk to them while they're cooking,
Which they only have an hour, and it's ticking away quickly.
Don't call them over like it's like a teacher calling a student over and being like, like, I don't know. It just doesn't, it doesn't feel right to me. I thought that was kind of strange.
And they had a lot to cook.
So,
Go ahead.
These 2 teams, I really feel like this episode was kind of like a predictable episode.
Yeah.
Because of who they picked to be the captain of the red team, which was the Lydia girl. Right off the bat, I was like, you can tell this girl is not going to make it very far into the competition. She doesn't want to be the leader. She doesn't like being the team leader.
She said that, too.
But I just thought, I didn't know why Gordon and all the other judges put her in such a vulnerable position so early in the competition. When you become the team captain, to me, it's because the judges are saying, you stand out, you're special, and we want to see if you really are that good, so we're going to make you team captain. And in this case, I don't know, it's like they're going to end up this season with nothing but 12-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
If they just put these littler kids in these vulnerable positions so early on, because I think if Lydia hadn't have been team leader this episode, I think she would have gotten like 5 or 6 episodes in. So they kind of just like completely stomped on her chances of, advancing into the competition.
Yeah, and I think the reason why they chose her maybe was because the last episode she did really well, but they were working on their own. And she didn't, I don't remember any mishaps with anything she cooked in the last 2 episodes. And maybe they thought, because this is different when you're a team captain. Plus they had multiple dishes. Plus they had one of the players was a vegan. So they had to, each of the teams had to also make a vegan dish. And when you're saying a dish, you're talking, well, for the other one, the meat dish, you had to have a protein, 2 sides, and a sauce. Did I forget anything? And that's a lot. And for a little girl, and she's there to compete, so just right off the bat like that, you kind of could see actually the writing on the wall. And you just didn't know. Well, we didn't know actually until the end, I guess, that they were going to send 2 people home.
No.
And
so that was kind of fucked up too.
Yeah.
The whole episode, you're like, she's not ready to be a leader yet, but
and she said that
maybe she'll slip away and some other person will get sent home instead of her. Oh no, there's 2 people going home. Okay, she's screwed.
Yeah.
She's totally going home. No more strawberry shortcake for Masterchef Junior. So, and the first thing she did, too, that made me really question why would you put her in charge, was she put the cheese boy, she put Wallace on the vegan dish.
His name is really bright.
That was his assignment, the vegan dish. Like, you just look at him. He's basically like a carbon cutout clone of Shane from season 5. You put him like this meat boy, this country boy who cooks meat.
His father, and he competed barbecue competitions all over the country.
You put him on the vegan dish when you have steak to cook, and guess what ends up happening too? He has to come to the rescue. After he's done making his vegan dish that he doesn't get any help with at all, he has to go over and help other people and cook their steaks and correct the steaks because the steaks were all raw. So
he actually did pretty well with the vegan dish too.
Yeah, he did perfectly on everything that he did, which was funny because he got burned and he got injured a little bit.
And he was in terrible pain. They had to get a medic and put medicine on it.
Chef Gordon was just like,
it's a little blister.
He's probably seen those tons of times. He's like,
it's a little blister.
And then the medic came over and he put some rub-on anesthetic and he was good to go. But
he still was in pain.
We'll get to that part, though. So anyways, I thought that was really idiotic.
Yeah.
To put him on the vegan
I don't know,
dish.
she just didn't listen. There were 3 episodes in, and she didn't listen when he said that he had been in all these competitions. Or maybe he didn't say that in front of everybody. I thought he said something to that effect, that he was really good at cooking the meat, just meat. So I don't know what happened with that, the communication. Because for him to be cooking vegetarian, and he said,
vegan.
I've never, vegan, he's never cooked vegan food. That's what he said.
Never.
But still, he treated it kind of like a steak. Regular steak. He had to make cauliflower steaks. And she actually, what else? Well, he just concentrate on the cauliflower steaks. And so, despite that not being meat, he did pretty well, although she commented they were a little bit tougher than she would have liked. but she still liked their vegan dish.
If Wallace wasn't on the team, they would have been a total failure.
Yeah.
A complete failure in every single way, shape, or form. The only reason why they had any sort of compliments was because of Wallace.
Yeah.
And I will say,
yeah.
too, that both teams made such better choices of what food to make than the adults did on the real MasterChef last year.
Because I just don't think they have any fear. The adults get too hung up in particulars, and they get stressed out
No,
over...
Safi, I mean like what food they chose.
Yeah, but But,
Remember how last year they just kept choosing things for themselves? And like the Alabama girl, she was like, maybe I should have thought about the children instead of thinking about myself.
Yeah.
You know, like these teams, they actually chose food that the people would like. Wow.
And you could tell they thought about it too.
Yeah.
And used good judgment. So both of them, both teams. So anyway, with that being said, the blue team, Miles, they made fried chicken. And apparently when you fry chicken, and they fried it in buttermilk and some spices, you fry it, but then you don't completely fry it all the way. You put it in the oven to finish it off, because if you don't, then the frying will take it will dry it out too much. Which I didn't know. I've never really made. I think I've made it a long time ago, but it was a different kind of recipe. And we don't have a fryer, so we'd have to put it in a pot full of oil, hot oil, without any, they used a basket and put it in the basket and put it in the hot oil way deep, so they have to be really near the oil. Then they made a honey sauce, and I think that was a helpful thing too, because they really liked that.
And the Asian, I will say, I didn't really pay attention to the blue team episode because it was just clear they were going to win. And honestly, like, it's not interesting to me if someone... Are you going to keep doing that?
I'm having water.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you put, like, a gag in your mouth or something? That'll help the review a little bit more. But I really am not interested in, like, people who just automatically win and people who are just handed things. And it just felt like the blue team was easily going to win. It didn't feel like there was any competition, so I didn't really pay attention to them at all. But what was interesting to me was that the Asian girl, isn't she Lilo?
Yep.
She slipped under the radar, and this is what always happens. And so I think they're aiming for her to win the season, because this is what's going to happen. She's going to slip under the radar for the whole season.
I don't think so.
She's going to come back at the end. She's going to make dumplings or lo mein or chow mein, and she's going to win the season.
I don't agree
because like that's what they like on MasterChef. They like the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again. They don't like anyone different or interesting or unique. They basically just like people who are clones.
Well, I don't agree at all. First of all, she's one of the young ones.
So what?
And also, she was on the vegan dish, so she had to make tomato slices and what are those things called? Oh God, I can never remember the name of that vegetable because I don't eat it. I don't like it. She complained that I don't have enough patience to put a grill mark on these it's grilled eggplant. That was the other thing. I don't have enough patience to stand here and put grill marks on the eggplant.
Did that happen?
She said that. It wasn't cooked well. It wasn't completely cooked. And
I was not paying attention to the blue team at all. So
I heard that last night and this morning.
That's really bad.
And that they also I think Michael is the other little boy who was working on it. But he was focused. They made to go with that grilled eggplant and tomato slices. He made a basil pesto, and so I think he was more focused on that, and that was fine. They liked that, but the just in the end, the woman player, she preferred the other team's vegetarian dish, which we said that Bryson had started, and he had grilled the eggplant slices like steak. So, it's just kind of a transfer over. And even though she said it was a little tough, she preferred the red team's vegetarian dish. So Lilo was 50% on this vegetarian dish, and she said that. I don't have the patience. She actually said, and so I don't see how she's going to win anything. I don't see why she's even there.
Because they'll protect her. Like, you remember Caesar from the adult Masterchef? Like, he was awful.
I really don't think she.
He was terrible. He was so bad. He failed, like, every episode. He was basically just a diversity quota contestant. And he sucked, and they put him in the finale.
No,
and then remember Kwani? Remember that little fucker who made the maple syrup out of brown sugar and water? Like, he was in the fucking finale, Safi. Like, if someone who puts brown sugar and water and calls it maple syrup gets into the finale, you're damn sure that they'll put this Lilo, who is like, I don't have the patience to put grill marks on an eggplant. Like, can you imagine if an adult Masterchef said, I don't have the patience to sear this steak. I don't have the patience to put grill marks on the steak. Like, they'd get sent home.
Yeah.
Right?
They would. Well, anyway, we'll make a bet.
I
bet. Think she's going to be in Lilo. Is going to be in the finale.
I guarantee.
I don't agree.
They just can't be without it.
I don't agree. Anyway, so moving on. So anyway, just to reiterate, the blue team made the fried chicken. They made cornbread muffins, and then they had a mustard potato salad, which I think was really good. I think they complained a little bit. There was a little bit too much mustard. One of the players and Aron. And they make green beans.
Well, first, let's talk about how the cheese boy, Wallace, how he burned himself. So
near the end.
He was having trouble because no one would help him.
Do anything.
These kids, you can tell that they've been taught too much about all the diversity bullshit, and so they don't really care about Wallace or people like him. So, they don't really help people like him do anything. So, he had to do everything all by himself. He was struggling, and he burned himself, and you could tell that it was going to happen because, he wasn't getting any help at all. Poor Wallace. He doesn't have Gromit there to help him. And he got burned. And even after being burned, he basically saved the team from being a total train wreck, and he did everything perfectly. So, everything that he did was perfect. So I wish that he would be in the finale, but I don't know if they'll let him, Because remember in the first episode, they're like, he's playing it safe. And then meanwhile, you had Lilo, and she made, the most easiest thing you could make, and they didn't say she was playing it safe. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll let him be in the finale, but I kind of hope that he, gets close to the finale, but I think that people on the blue team, you have some of those boys that are probably going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, we'll see. The leader of the blue team, Miles, who doesn't have a hand, he's been raised very well. He's very confident in himself, and he's very calm. And even the little boy, the North Dakota boy, Alfred, he kind of irritated me. He kept making comments about, he was working on the mushroom gravy. They all loved the mushroom gravy. It went with steak. And they all loved it. They thought that, and that's what he worked on totally. Although in the end, that Christelle, she had been working on coleslaw. Now this is the red team, Lydia's team, okay? And she just kept working on it. She just worked kept making more and more, but she didn't have any sauce in it. And she should have made enough sauce. I don't know who was supposed to be working on that, if she was supposed to be doing that too, or what. I didn't even see who worked on the sauce for that. But Alfred was over there, and he was working on the mushroom gravy, and all he did was make remarks.
Yeah.
How he was comparing Lydia. First, she's a bull in the pasture going crazy, and then he said, I think the cows on our farm are more organized than my team. And
well, yeah, that was what was annoying, was the fact that, it's very predictable in every season. If you have like a littler kid leading a team, they don't get taken seriously at all.
Yeah.
Or if it's a girl, a lot of the times, like remember last season, Mafia Don, he didn't want a girl to lead the team, and so he basically didn't listen to her at all. So they did not really respect Lydia or listen to Lydia at all, really. She was basically like not able to be team captain. And the thing that I'll say is that the judges, every single time that someone is like a poor team captain, it's obviously being a bad team captain is a problem and might be a good reason to send you home. But it's really surprising that there's no sort of talk about, like, what does that say about a chef that won't listen to their leader? Because, if they're going to be working in a restaurant and they're not going to listen to their boss, then what's going to happen to them? They're going to get fired.
And they're not going to start off being a head chef either. They have to work their way up.
Yeah, so what does that say about all these chefs on Lydia's team, except for Wallace? What does that say about them that they wouldn't listen to the leader?
Yeah, because Wallace said at the beginning, he said, I don't understand why she's making me cook cauliflower when I'm a meat person. I've never cooked anything vegetarian, but she's my captain, so I have to do what she says.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
And the other kids didn't care.
Well, they were just frazzled. And then you have that beauty queen girl, and she was worthless.
She sucked.
I don't even know what she made. I have no idea what she worked on. No idea.
I don't either.
In
But
fact, I was trying to think. I was watching her. I still don't know. They didn't really show, I don't think. And maybe she was supposed to be working on the sauce for the coleslaw. I don't know, because I have no idea who was supposed to be doing that, but they didn't do a good job. Because it basically was a pile of cabbage on the people's plate. And they even said that when they were, talking about the dishes and who's going to win and all that, the judges. So Alfred kind of, even though he made all those metaphors about his farm animals and the behavior of his team, he still did a good job on his part. But he didn't have to, and gravy too, you can't really just let it cook by itself and run over and help other people. And Miles, I think Miles for the blue team, the team that won, the one that made the chicken, Asher, was very good in keeping him in line. He got to the point where he was starting to go around helping everybody, and he was so busy helping he wasn't working on the chicken, and they had to, the chicken, if it wasn't cooked properly, they would have lost.
yeah.
Because that was the big, it seemed like they really focused on the meat. Like for the other team, it was the steak, and for this team, it was the chicken. And so Asher kept them in line, and then, I don't know who it was. It was Roan, I think, who told them, or Chef Ramsay said that, you can't, the chicken will be the last thing to be plated. and you can't cook it completely in the fryer. You have to finish it up in the oven, so because it'll dry out and not be good. So if it wasn't for Asher, who kind of like he's really good. He's younger too, but he kept him from completely losing focus, and so that was a good thing. But that Lilo, she was not that great. Michael, I don't know what to say. He did fine. He did what he was supposed to, and they liked the pesto, so.
So I will say, another thing that I noticed was that Matilda was not allowed to go over to the contestants, did she ever go over to them while they were cooking? Because, like, I don't even remember her doing that, and so I think...
She might have done it once.
I think that Chef Gordon says,
You know, Tilly, we let you be a judge on this show, but you just stand up here and talk, and we will go down there and help them cook. You know, you just stand up here and eat one of my frozen meals as a snack.
you know, because, like, I think she doesn't have as much experience, so right now she's not really going to be as hands-on with the chefs yet. Right? Is that what you think? You think that he's...
She did at the end made a lot of...
yeah, but
she did all the criticisms.
Not while they were cooking, though.
No. Well, no, she was saying, you know, they just seem all over the place.
But she didn't go down there, though. That's what I said.
Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think you're right.
So I think, like, and I'm going to be a little negative here as well, I think that Chef Gordon is, like, training her so that she can take over for him sometime.
Maybe.
So that, you know, she can be the Ramsay judge in MasterChef, which I would be fine with that, I guess. But I also think that, I don't know, maybe Gordon should just do the MasterChefs in Hell's Kitchen and stop doing like 1,000 other shows that he doesn't need to do.
Next Level Chef.
Yeah, like, I'm not watching that. I don't want to watch that.
Kitchen Nightmares, which is gross.
Kitchen Nightmares is kind of done. That's kind of like old at this point. I think that Bar Rescue is better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that.
Well, you have a lot to learn. And so anyways, I think the one thing that I noticed about when they were grading the food was that the coleslaw... Was the coleslaw on the blue team?
And no, it was on the red team.
Oh, that figures.
Christella was working on
Ooh.
it. She worked on the whole episode. All she did the whole episode was shred cabbage. I don't know who made the sauce. That's what I say. I don't know who did the sauce, because every time you looked at her, and they kept putting the camera on her, she was making slaw. And they all commented. All the judges and even the other team members. And then that North Dakota boy, you know, they grow vegetables on his farm, so he makes a lot of vegetarian vegetable foods. And so, but you know, even though they have cattle or cows and all these other animals, I'm not saying he's vegetarian. He's not, but he knows how to cook vegetables. And he's complained. He said, "Where's the sauce?" He said, "There's hardly any sauce. You've got to make more sauce or put more sauce in the coleslaw." And it just went over her head or something. I don't know. It went over Lydia's head. But Lydia, at this point, like, pretty, you know, not too far in, she was just running around and acting exasperated and had to, you know, and she was almost starting to yell because they wouldn't listen to her, and she said in the middle of it, she said, I don't want to be the team captain. I have to be. And she said, I'm the youngest of like 4 kids, I think she said. And I've never been listened to by anybody. So she did better in the other episodes because she worked on her own, like I said. But this team captain thing, this is just so new to her, and she just didn't like it. So therefore, just her attitude, and she wasn't being snippy or like Lilo saying, well, I don't have the patience to get grill marks on the eggplant. No, she wasn't like that. She was just frustrated. Because she just couldn't, because they wouldn't listen to her, and she was just exasperated.
So, what ended up happening was that, what's that girl's name? Skidabugaba? What's that girl's name?
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw girl? Okay, well, let's just call her Coleslaw, because that was her demise. She got sent home along with Lydia.
Yeah, they sent 2 people, and they didn't find out that until the end.
Yeah, that was really fucked up. Like, right at the end, they're like,
Oh yeah, we're also gonna send 2 people home today.
and the kids are just like, what? Are you serious? Oh, shit. And then it's like, oh. Because that's the moment I realized, okay, Lydia has no chance of staying now.
No.
If they just sent one person home, she would have stayed. The other girl, Coleslaw, would have gotten sent home. But since it was 2 people. So anyways, I give this episode a B, or a B+, I guess just a B. Because it's just a pretty good show, but it's just kind of fair. It feels like it could be a little bit better. Like this episode, it just feels kind of tame. I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of, it felt like it was empty. That's why I get this feeling from it.
Yeah.
Empty meaning it just lacked something.
Like, it is better than last year, though. Last year's, or I guess the year before last year, that MasterChef Junior, that was awful. You know, that was terrible. It had a couple of good episodes, but it was not good. And this does feel like a little bit of an improvement, but it feels like they're trying to be very inoffensive and just kind of be in the middle and be a very tame, family-friendly show. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do, you know. I think the earlier seasons of the show are better. You know, seasons 1 through 5. Or, I mean, seasons 2 through 5. Season 1 sucked. Right, Sophie?
Well, I'll have to ask my other son who's going to have his daughter watch it. I'm just going to ask him if he thinks what he thinks about it in terms of family friendly, or they're too nice, or just what she thinks, what his daughter thinks, because she's almost at the age that the younger kids are in this show, and because it just does seem kind of quiet, or like Marco said, very, very, like they're really trying to be inoffensive.
Yeah, it feels like a product rather than a show. It feels like something that, you know, they're just fulfilling their obligation to do, and that's about it. Whereas I thought that the holiday MasterChef Junior, you know, that, what was that called? Cooking for Home, or Home for the Holidays? I thought that was really, really good. I did not really feel like they were trying to be inoffensive or in the middle, but for MasterChef Junior, it does feel that way, and that's pretty weird, because, like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, like, who they're trying to appease. Like, you know, there's a limited amount of people who watch the show.
Yeah.
They're not going to be happier because the show is more tame and family-friendly. You know, so who are they trying to appease? You know, it's the same thing like with Goosebumps, where it's like, we're going to take out all these things that are quote-unquote problematic, and it's like nobody thought these things were ever problematic at all, so who are you trying to appease? No one.
And they already knew that, I mean, these are kids, so you can't, they can be really mean and, for the adults, and they throw their dishes in the trash and throw the food against the wall, like outside when they're doing outside challenges. Now, next week they are going to do another group challenge, and I believe it's going to be outside.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing group challenges like in a row like this. I don't like that.
Yeah, I think they should spread them out.
Yeah.
I agree.
I hope that someone who doesn't deserve to get home doesn't get sent home, like last year where that girl with epilepsy, or was it epilepsy? The girl who had seizures, you remember she went home for no reason after they blamed her for them running out of rice or whatever. Like, they sent her home for no reason. Like, I hope that someone doesn't get sent home undeservedly again.
Yeah, hopefully it's Lilo.
Oh, Safi. She's going to go to the
care.
finale.
She's just, I think she thinks she's entitled to be there.
No, I think that they think that she's entitled to be there because they have to have someone like her every single year.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any of the other kids.
Or it's like the
what they
producers.
said. And Jordan, I don't know what her deal is. She's a beauty pageant queen. I don't think she belongs there either.
No, she doesn't.
She'll be out. But I'm not saying she feels entitled. I don't think that. The only one, Lilo, is, I don't know if it's because her father has this restaurant, and I don't know what it is. I'm just trying to think about all the other kids. They don't, of course, it's only 3 episodes in. They can't focus on every single person a lot. So they might show them but not say anything, or the kid doesn't say anything. So she's the only one when she doesn't have the patience. If you're wanting to be a master chef and win, you don't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like Lydia, who's saying, I don't want to be the captain of a team. Well, that would sink her too, because you have to do that. To be a master chef, you have to be able to do that. I mean, that just seems like anybody. I mean, any of the other shows, any of them, children or adult, if they can't handle being a team captain, it usually doesn't work out for them, no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
well,
she got out.
It's just the fact that, like, I think she deserved a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, I know.
It was clear that they stomped on her chances of moving forward by putting her at this position so early. Because, like, I think that there's also other contestants who went very far in past seasons. Maybe they wouldn't have been good team captains at first, but then maybe later on in the season, after they worked on a team under other people, they would have been better.
Yeah, because they would
team
have seen
captain.
how it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're done now. I give it a B too. I did like the Harlem Globetrotters.
I bet you did.
I think they really bring a lot to basketball.
Really?
I've heard some of the sports pundits, after this football season.
Safi, sports pundits are retards.
Well, they have solid jobs and make money, and they have
that doesn't not make them
attention.
retards.
Well, I don't think that's right to say, but anyway, they've been kind of bragging a little bit on baseball or basketball.
Let's not talk about what retards have to say about sports.
These people, they said they help children and charities all over the world. They visit 100 countries a year, and they're really, the things that they do with the ball, the spinning. One guy he spun 2 balls on 2 different hands at the same time, which was amazing. And they're just really interesting. That they're friendly and nice. They, and they're really good at what they do, and I think they bring a lot to. They brought a lot to, because I think if it hadn't been them, I think it would have been a really boring episode.
Really?
I think they added a little bit.
Well, Safi, they were hardly in the episode, so you're basically saying like the whole episode is boring, except for those little tiny 5 minutes where they're in it.
Well, they're in it at the end, and they're in it at the beginning.
I mean, I think it would have been better to include them in the challenge.
Well, I was wondering if they were going to be part of the challenge in some way.
It would have been really fun and also really helpful
I don't know how
for that vegan girl to help Wallace, since he wasn't getting any help from any of those bully kids, and so she could have helped him, and she would have been
really good. And Miles, he even did better than Miles, because you got to remember he got injured, and he said he was still in pain, but it's kind of like the show must go on. And he had a really good attitude, and despite being in pain, he helped his team. They had to plate everything. He carried the steaks over. Here he is. He had a horrible burned hand. It hurt. And he's just a kid. So, and he really, I just thought he was really good. I hope he goes far, and if he deserves it, I hope he wins. So, at least gets in the final, whatever they're going to have, 2. So, anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.